I don't have a.
Well, I mean, I did get fucked until my appendix burst.
Wait, what?
I mean, sorry, it didn't actually burst. It got inflamed and I had to get it removed. So thankfully it didn't burst, but it was Kieran Lee who sent me to the hospital.
No shit.
Yeah, it's a much longer story than that. I have told this story before.
Was this recent?
No, this was like many, many years ago when we first, I think it was the first time I fucked him too.
Oh my God.
Like, he went really deep into my organs and just...
Did you know you had a problem with it like in the scene, or was it after that you were like, wow, something feels weird?
After the scene. I was like in pain and I was like, oh, it must have been because it was a giant dick fucking my organs.
Yeah.
And I actually went to the doctor and was like, I went to urgent care. And this is before I was living here. So I went to urgent care and I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. Like, I'm talking like I was in a fetal position.
Yeah,
like
balled over.
Yeah, I was in so much pain, the most pain I'd ever experienced.
Wow.
And I said to the doctor, like, I think this happened to me after sex. I think a big dick did this to me. And he laughed in my face. He was like, a dick can't do this to you. And I was like, yeah, but it was like this big. So he like ran a bunch of tests and he was like, you probably have an ectopic pregnancy. And I'm like, no, I do not. I'm not it's not an ectopic pregnancy. And the only thing that the tests came back with that I had an elevated white blood cell count. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. He was like, well, if you keep feeling terrible, come back to me or go straight to the hospital. And I was like, this was right before AVN. I was like, no, I'm not missing AVN. I'm going to Vegas. Fuck it. I'm going to Vegas. And I did. I kept waking up and it got worse and worse and worse. I'm like, I don't care.
God.
If I feel this shitty, I may as well be in Vegas.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to Vegas and continued to shoot and be an immense pain.
Yeah. And to see everyone. Oh my God.
But what was funny? Like every time I would fuck, I'd feel a little bit better after the sex.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, and the endorphins and the dopamine. So I'd feel a little bit better. So I'd be like, okay, I just need to keep fucking. Never stop fucking. That's the key. Never stop fucking because that's when the pain occurs.
Right. Yes.
And anyway, so I ended up going back to Australia and, was no longer shooting. So the pain came back full force. And so I had a doctor come to my home because I was so like balled up. I couldn't even move.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, as soon as the doctor came and he started like touching my stomach, I felt better.
Of course, right?
This like kind old German doctor just like prodding my stomach, and I'm like, oh, actually, I feel fine. Like as soon as I'm touched, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then he left, and within half an hour, I was in the hospital throwing up, just on morphine.
That's like
getting my appendix removed. It's actually a very, very long story. I've shortened it. There's some funny things along the way, but I
bet you like Kieran was probably like, damn, my dick is powerful.
You could post that and be like,
oh my God.
Gay fan.
Yeah. So he gave me appendicitis. He inflamed my appendix, and I actually had to remove an organ for Kieran Lee.
Whoa!
But now there's more room for his dick to fit. So
there we go. It was never too deep again.
Yeah.
Oh my
space
God.
right there.
That is fucking wild.
Yeah.
People don't know about the stuff that can happen to you because from shooting porn. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, I wish that like being called sexual athletes was what we were called, because when you get to a certain level in the industry, you are not a sex worker. You're not a porn performer. You are a fucking sexual athlete. Yeah. Your body goes through the same things I think a lot of athletes do, a lot of pro athletes do. Like sometimes I get done like a gangbang and I'll take an ice bath because my body will, it will be sore. It feels like a 20-mile-per-hour car accident after a gangbang. Yeah. And you love it. You're just like, ow, I was a good slut today.
The funny thing about porno injuries is that you never feel it during the sex because you've got all the endorphins and the adrenaline and everything. You just feel so good and you're coming. And then as soon as it ends, you're like, oh my God. What did I do?
yeah, totally.
I had a pancreatitis during my first feature that I ever did.
Oh no!
And it started coming on like the second day, third day of shooting. I did like a threesome, and it felt better after, like during and after the threesome. I was like, okay, I might be good. And then the only thing I had to do for the rest of the day was sit there with like each of us had like a partner for the scene, and we were like watching a couple in the middle of the room, like, and that was part of the movie. And literally it got to the point where like David Lord was like, this is when I knew that like you were like for real in the industry. He was like, you're sitting there like smiling, and then as soon as the camera cuts, I'm just like doubled over on the couch, like holding my insides, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. And they're like, okay, and then they roll, and I'm like, oh, like, isn't that hot? And as soon as they cut, I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. I was like, as soon as I left there, I went to the ER, and immediately
The Olympics.
Like,
Porn
they're like,
Olympics.
But what about like, okay, so what about dick injuries? Like, okay, because one time I sat and I didn't actually sit on it. I just sat like maybe my thigh on it and like almost broke the guy's dick, you know? And oddly enough, it was Aussie and Kira directing me with her then husband, Tony. And it was my first time working for her. She was my idol. And then I'm like, I just broke her husband's dick. Like, he had to take a 20-minute break. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, she hates me. Like, I literally just ruined her own dick. So have you had any what are the injuries that girls do to your dick besides the teeth? Yeah.
I had one where the female talent had a ring on, and she moved her wedding ring upside down, or it slid. Maybe it was a fake one, it was a little too big, but it slid the other way. The diamond was on the bottom. She didn't realize, and she went over to like, hey, let me help you, and went and grabbed it and went like this and just slid a hole in the bottom of it.
Oh my God.
Lee Raven Pierce, I think.
Oh no! Oh no!
She was playing ring toss with her earrings, like during the scene. We were just getting wild with it. She threw them on, and one of them came undone. And when she went to go grab it, it just went into, it was around it like this. And then when she went to go grab it, it leaned in left.
And now he has a piercing there.
Right? I still finished.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's fucking wild.
But they don't ever talk about that when you get into the industry at all. Like, your jug's gonna get fucked up. Like, it's gonna get, and you can even tell too. Like, you can tell the ways the cuts happen. I can tell if it was like a molar cut or if it was like a canine tooth, like that got me or whatever. You can tell like by how it really damages it. Yeah.
I actually have all of my teeth, all of my upper and lower back teeth. They're not shaved to where it's like bad, but they're all smoothed. Just because I like deep throating so much that I wanted to be better at it. So I had all of them smoothed on the edges.
The things she does, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but the problem is like if they were normal, I can't control myself because that's one of my favorite things to do.
Right.
So if a guy was like, I'd be like, I don't care. Like, I'm going for it, you know? Like, it's my turn right now. But true. I do have degenerative disc disease, C5, 6, 7, and 8. And pinched nerve, and it's directly from pile driver. So I will say,
gotta be holding you up when they do that. They can't be pushing you down.
I mean, it wasn't their fault because it's just like the thing I like. I like to see it at the same time, and I don't know what it is. I like to. I don't know. I like the weirder I can get in a position while I'm getting fucked. It makes me feel better for some reason. I'm like, yeah, I'm opening up so crazy, right? You know, and also like I like to see it. So you got to get all the way in there. I have so much to learn. Definitely.